And now, the Minneapolis and 73 Committee Video Services Division proudly presents Ms. Marian's Bedtime Story, made possible in part by a grant from the Dr. Dodd Klegler Institute for Transtemporal Fanish Studies, and by Jump Shift. For instant teleportation anywhere at the Worldcon, go Jump Shift.
And now is everyone ready for our bedtime story?
I don't like bedtime.
Tonight's bedtime story is called Too Many Bozos.
I don't like bozos.
Father, said Danny Drake, may I have a Worldcon? Danny's father looked at Danny. Danny Drake, he said, you asked me that last week. And what did I say?
I've heard this before.
No, said Danny. And what, you asked me that the week before, said his father. And what did I say? No, said Danny. Danny's father said, no.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Danny. Our house is too small for a Worldcon. But I have a good name for a Worldcon, said Danny. I want to call it BozoCon. No, Danny, said his father, and Danny knew it was time to stop. Danny ran out to the neighborhood ecological preserve to play. He played in the ecological preserve all morning with his friend Patty. They were secret masters of fandom on a transtemporal Fanish mission. And then Patty took him home and showed him her Mimeo machine and told him about amateur press associations and fanzines and publishing. She showed him how to type stencils and print and collate and staple. Danny saw the hectograph. He knew at once he wanted that to publish his apazine. Patty sold it to him for only $1. They found a box and put the hectograph in it. Then Danny carried the hectograph home. Oh boy, Danny said to Patty, am I glad I found out about appas. Won't Mom be surprised? And Mom was surprised.
Yeah, I bet.
Danny held up the stencils and the corflue and the paper and the staplers and the hectograph. Now I have a Fanish way of life, he told his mother. Do you want to help me collate? No, thanks, said Danny's mother. I'm going to call my appa Bozo. Danny said, Bozo Appa.
That's dumb.
Please tell Bozo Appa to stay in your room, said Danny's mother.
Didn't move anymore.
Promise, said Danny.
Margaret.
Danny kept Bozo Appa in his room and took good care of it. He typed neatly and corrected all his errors. What fun the Appa was! And what a good way to meet people. The first issue, 20 people contributed. Then Danny put out the second issue, then a third, and another 20 people joined, and there were over 200 pages. Soon Danny needed to print so many pages that he couldn't do them all on his old hectograph. So Danny decided to build a bigger hectograph. He thought and thought. At last Danny thought of the bathtub.
I don't like bathrooms.
No, Jimmy.
I could tell.
He filled the bathtub with lime jello.
I don't like one.
Danny's mother came in to take a bath.
Look at that face.
She screamed when she saw the lime jello. A lime jello monster in my bathtub. Ugh, cried his mother. Danny, take that appa.
Marshmallows in it?
Danny, take that appa and that lime jello out of the house at once. Sadly, Danny put his complete set of bound Bozo apazines and his stencils and his stapler and the lime jello into a wheelbarrow and walked back to the ecological preserve. On the way, he met his friend Billy. Let's organize a science fiction club, said Billy. What a good idea, said Danny. We can have the first meeting at our house. I'll tell everybody to come, said Billy. Danny ran all the way home. Oh boy, he said to himself, am I glad I met Billy. Won't Dad be surprised? And Dad was surprised. Danny opened the door for him to see. There were dozens of kids in beanies with cases of potato chips and beer. That's root beer. This is my SF club, Danny said. I'm going to call it Bozo. The Bozo Science Fiction Society. Danny invited the club in and let them lounge around the living room. Look, Daddy cried. We'll talk about serious and constructive topics and discuss science fiction. Do you want to try it? No, thanks, said Danny's father. And Danny Drake, don't let that club out of your room. It's all right, Dad, said Danny. The Bozo Science Fiction Club won't put lime jello in the bathtub. Danny took good care of the Bozo Science Fiction Club. But at 1 in the morning, Danny's father woke up. The hallway was full of filk singers. They were playing 3 guitars and 6 kazoos. When Danny's father took a good look at the carpet, he cried, "Our carpet! Look at all the peanut shells and potato chips ground into the carpet." Then he said, "Danny Drake, take this messy club out of the house at once." Sadly, Danny showed this Bozo Science Fiction Club out of the house. The best place to take the Bozo Science Fiction Club, thought Danny, is back to the bookstore. That's where Billy met all these people in the first place. So Danny took the Bozo Science Fiction Club to the bookstore. Uncle Hugo was glad to see them come in.
Sleeping.
Wake up, Jimmy.
Teacher, he didn't wake up.
Well, we'll wake him up later. So Uncle Hugo was glad to see them come in. Danny and Uncle Hugo made a swap. Danny ran all the way home. "Oh boy," he said to himself, "am I glad I went to the SF bookstore. I wonder what Mom and Dad will say when they see what I have now." Danny's mother and father did not say anything at first. They just looked at the people in the doorway. "Who in the world are they?" his mother asked. Danny said, "These are war game players. See all those risk games and dice and miniature soldiers and maps? I can watch them refight the Battle of Waterloo and kill dragons and everything."
Jimmy, wake up.
"Shh. War games," cried Danny's mother. "I can just see dice and little tin soldiers and board game pieces all over the house. No dungeon players, Danny Drake. And I mean it." "Mom and Dad," said Danny Drake at last, "I just have to have some kind of vanish way of life." "Yes," said Danny's mother, "I can see that you do." She put her arm around Danny. "I know just the way of life for you," she said. "Is it better than an APA?" asked Danny. "Much better," said his father. "Is it better than an SF club?" "Much, much better," said his mother. "Is it better than a dungeon game?" "Oh, yes," said his mother. "Much, much, much better." "Shh. Danny Drake," she said, "how would you like a Worldcon?" "A Worldcon," cried Danny. "A Worldcon." "A little Worldcon," said Danny's mother, "because our house is little. Invitational only with a membership limit of 200. "Oh boy," said Danny, "a Worldcon. I guess what I'm going to call it." "Bozo," said Danny. "BozoCon." "Bozo," said Danny's father. "Wait till they all clone." All right, children, now it's time for bed.
No.
Wake up, Jimmy. It's time for bed. Wake up.
Late show.
No, no,
Me
no,
too.
no, no, bed.
I want to watch TV. I want to watch the TV.
Come